Did you know that the number one reason why most women discontinue birth control is weight gain? Do all forms of birth control lead to weight gain or make weight loss impossible? In today's video, I'm going to be unpacking birth control, the different types, what to expect from them, and of course, I'll be giving a recommendation of what the best thing for you to do. I am Jane Mukami, a multi-award-winning nutrition-based weight loss coach, and I'm passionate about helping women to stop dieting, lose weight while eating carbohydrates, and without having to exercise if exercise is not their thing. Now, jumping right in, let's kick off by talking about the reasons why we get on birth control. The number one reason is to prevent pregnancy. However, birth control has been shown to reduce hormonal acne. It's been shown to regulate the cycle. It's been known to alleviate or eliminate discomfort that you might face during your cycle, such as cramping. It's also known to provide freedom in cases where maybe you're going on vacation and do not want to have a cycle. There are certain methods that are flexible or allow you to manipulate when you want to have a cycle and when you do not want to have a cycle. When it comes to fertility, having children, the menstrual cycle, there are two hormones that run the show. These are estrogen and progesterone. And during every single month, the first half of your cycle, or from day one of bleeding all the way to about day 14, 15, estrogen runs the show. From day 15 to the end of this 4-week cycle, progesterone runs the show. Now, there are two main kinds of birth control. There's non-hormonal, such as condoms, spermicide, and of course, that which most of us use, hormonal methods of birth control. And when it comes to hormonal, I want you to realize that yes, the body produces estrogen. Estrogen is produced by your ovaries, by the way, and progesterone, which is produced by an endocrine gland. So when you're taking a pill that's hormonal, what that means is that this is a synthetic type of estrogen and progesterone. The progesterone is known as progestin, and the estrogen is known as ethyl estradiol. So they are synthetic forms that have been put in whatever method that you are using. Now, jumping right into the different types of birth control that are out there. The IUD is a common one. That's where you have the little copper thing inserted in you, and you can keep that for a while. They do have IUDs that do not have hormones. However, majority of them have hormones. The second type of birth control is the implant. This is the one that's put in your skin, underneath the skin. And then the third one is, if you see me referring to my little note pad here, then we have the patch. The patch is almost like a band-aid that you simply stick on your skin in different parts of the body. And of course, we have the pill or oral contraceptives. And the thing with the pill that most people might not realize is that there are two different types that are out in the market. There's what's known as the combination pill. The combination pill has both estrogen and progesterone. And then there's what's known as a mini pill that only has progesterone. Now, the reason we need to differentiate between these two is because the combination pill, this is the one that has the different colors, and then it's going to have a placebo or sugar pills that you take and allows you to have a cycle. They tend to be color coded. The one that has the estrogen does seem to make you gain weight. However, this is fake weight gain because it's water weight. What happens is that estrogen activates another hormone known as vasopressin, which is an antidiuretic. And what this means is that it absorbs water. So you end up retaining water, which of course, when you get on a scale, it might show that you've gained a kilo or 2 pounds or 3 pounds. But this is weight from water that's going to flow out of your system as soon as your cycle is done. I've had clients and I've seen or worked with women who gain up to 8 pounds or 4 kilos in a duration of about 6 to 10 days within their cycle or during their cycle. And they'll freak out and say, oh my God, I gained 6 kilos, which is about 10, 12 pounds. But as soon as their cycle is done, the water flows out of their body and it's gone. So I do want you to realize that the combination pill with estrogen might have an impact on the scale, but this is not fat gain. It is water weight. It's water that your body holds on to and then releases it once the cycle is gone. This is not the case with the mini pill because it only contains progesterone, but progesterone does not have this water retention issue. So again, mini pill doesn't have estrogen. Combination has a combination of both estrogen and progesterone. So that was the fourth kind. Then the last one is the shot known as depot. Right now, depot has been shown by research to make most women gain weight. The word here is most, and this is because it activates your appetite. It makes you hungrier. So you might find yourself eating more. They've shown that about most women will tend to gain about 5 to 10% of weight in the first couple of months of starting depot. So obviously, anytime when your appetite is stimulated, you're eating more, chances are you're eating in a caloric surplus, so you're eating more food than your body is used to, which then means you're gaining fat. This is not the same case as the combination pill where it's water retention. The depot shot actually only has estrogen. It doesn't have progesterone. So this will be all fat. It's not the same case as the pill. Now, when it comes to birth control, every woman is so different that it's possible to find a group of women who've been on different types of birth control and going through very different experiences. I've seen women who've come to me and said, you know, they got an IUD and they're gaining weight, or they got the patch and they're gaining weight. Anytime you're on birth control, my recommendation is always pay attention to your body. Listen to your body. I highly recommend journaling. Write down how you feel when you feel it to determine if it's something that has everything to do with birth control, or if it's something external or something else that's going on. So birth control, just like trying to lose weight on a diet, it doesn't work the same for everybody because our bodies are very different. Again, the two that might have been seen to impact most women the same way is depot and the pill, especially the estrogen progesterone combination pill. Now, from my very own personal experience, I've only ever been on the pill, which, by the way, I stopped taking about 9 years ago, back when I was bodybuilding. And the one thing that I remember fondly is that as I was getting close to going into a bodybuilding competition, I had to stop taking the pill. It actually would be about 6 to 8 weeks. Why? Because I was taking a combination pill and I'd retain water, which as soon as I stopped taking the pill, the scale would go down. But again, remember, this is water weight. And when it comes to bodybuilding, the goal is to make sure you are presenting your muscles the best way possible. So I remember having multiple conversations with my coach at the time about when to get off the pill so that my body isn't holding on to water as I went into competition. I did have friends who also used different types of birth control. Some of them had to take estrogen blockers to minimize estrogen in their body and minimize the water retentive effect of estrogen thanks to vasopressin. So again, I've seen this personally from my experience of learning how birth control impacts the body from an aesthetic point of view. Now, fast forward to currently, a lot of people, my clients will always ask me, how comes I do not take birth control? I'm just very cautious about taking something that's going to impact my body's natural flow. a few years ago, 2-3 years ago, I tried to get back on the pill and something very interesting happened. I asked my OB-GYN to recommend the lowest dose of estrogen in a pill that I wanted to take. And by the way, this is one of the things you might want to do, is have that conversation with your OB-GYN if you're struggling with weight issues, and request that she prescribes the lowest dose pill possible. Most birth control will have about 30 mcgs of estrogen. However, there are some that are as low as 10 mcgs of estrogen, which is what I did 3 years ago, once I knew or had been knowing that birth control does impact how the body feels sometimes. So anyway, so I got on this pill, and unfortunately, if you've ever noticed this, most birth control will have side effects. For example, mine was nausea. I was always nauseated. I was having headaches, right? So yes, preventing pregnancy is great, but if you listen to your body, you're going to find or see certain things that happen, and you might not even realize that they are caused by your birth control. So again, in my case, it was constantly feeling nauseated and having headaches. Because I listened to my body, I know that if a headache is persistent, it was not food, it wasn't my environment, it was something I was ingesting, in this case, my birth control. So anyway, I took this birth control for 2 weeks and I couldn't take it anymore. So it had been probably 5 years since I'd been on any birth control or 6 years when I tried this. And within 14 days, I gave it up, and I did not get a cycle for 3 months. So 2 weeks of taking a low dose hormonal birth control combo pill, my body was disrupted and I could not get or did not get a cycle until the 4th month of stopping to take the pill, which goes back to what I'm always thinking, which is let the body do its thing naturally. I track my cycle on an app. I do happen to have a regular cycle. So I ask anyone that does not have any conditions they have to take birth control, go the natural way. Download the app, track your cycle manually, or have something that's showing you what's going on, and that way you don't have to take in hormones. Remember, when you're on birth control, hormones are being released in your bloodstream every so often to regulate the cycle. So if you can, my recommendation is, if you build a bit more discipline, you can track your cycle on an app and not have to take medication. If you do need to take birth control, then you need a conversation with your OB-GYN. However, let me put out this disclaimer that you cannot crutch on birth control to be the reason you're gaining weight. If your nutrition habits are not correct, of course, you're going to gain weight regardless of the birth control. But I've seen that most women believe that their bodies are not losing weight because of birth control, maybe with the exception of depot. However, when I work with them, they begin to lose weight despite the birth control. So yes, birth control might increase your appetite. It might make you eat more, just like right before your cycle, when you're ovulating, when you're PMSing. My PMS symptom is I want to eat more, even though I'm not on birth control. So that might be some of you, or it might be your symptom where your appetite is stimulated and you end up eating much more in about a week or a week and a half, which can lead to weight gain, regardless of the form of birth control that you're taking. So again, try and make sure you're listening to your body. Pull out a pen and paper, track it on your phone, see how you're feeling, take responsibility of your body, because it's very difficult to have a blanket statement of what works for who and what doesn't work for who. It's very different and very personal from one woman to another. If you're enjoying this video, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button and stay tuned for next week's video. I'll be getting into the hormones that cause weight gain. There are about 6 to 9 hormones that are responsible responsible for your weight gain, and I'll be talking about this next week. Also, do me a favor, share with me your experience with whatever type of birth control that you've experienced. A lot of women have had negative side effects from different birth control. If that's been you, share in the comments what that has been. If you've never had issues with birth control, share the same too in the comments below. If you have a question, ask below, and I look forward to talking to you about another interesting topic next week.